We live.
It felt so good to finally see the champ show up to work. But then, unfortunately, the chat was interrupted by Natty again. Oh, wait, I probably should acknowledge Roman since he also showed up to work. Hey, Roman.
Oh my God. If I got to see Liv Morgan 800 more times this week holding this goddamn belt, I think I'm
You
just
need to
going to throw
stop.
something at the TV.
You sleepy man need to stop complaining because this
No!
female champion brought in 9 new subscribers to this channel.
But Marcus,
You can't. I believe it was my talent and charm and just in general of all the work and that you, me, Wes, Ross,
Was.
Jamal, and the 7 other people I can't name who are involved in this show and the LUMBERCHAT. I believe it's all them, and maybe that one guy in India. I believe it should be all of us that brought in those people, not Liv Morgan.
But Marcus, did you see the shoes that Liv Morgan wore this week? I mean, on
No,
SmackDown.
I chose not to look at her feet.
Hey, Manny, you know how you get rid of a touch of COVID? You use a sword. That's how you do it.
Yeah, but he's done this before.
Yeah. No, he never had the pyro. He never had the fire to go with it. I don't know who in the back conspired with him to do this. And hey, we're gonna use pyro, but it just seemed ridiculous.
You know who was happy about this, Marcus? You know who was extremely happy about Angela slicing that rope? That kid from the Money in the Bank show in Vegas who loved him some Drew McIntyre. Yeah. I know he was ecstatic when he saw that happen.
Manny, I'm also glad you didn't choose that as the thumbnail for the simple fact that was way too much Drew McIntyre crotch coming at me.
Hey, I was very close into selecting this one. I was really like, I really want this, but it doesn't fit with any title I could produce for this show.
What do you mean?
Marcus,
they look like they were paid. They paid people $12 million in hush money.
Marcus,
and they paid Liv Morgan to shut the fuck up and let them do their job.
You can't complain about Drew McIntyre's crotch when you have Masay and Mansoor with all their crotch out there in them tight white shorts, man. Those are hoochie daddy shorts to the utmost level. But I submitted my application. I'm trying to be a part of the fall collection. I am. I'm getting in shape. Getting in shape.
So you sent a full body shot to on your application.
You got that right, I did. I said, I can bottle both lines if you need me to. I still got man boobs.
Please don't.
I could be beef Lee. Anyway, Manny, I think we should start the show. Oh, look at this man. Can I tell you?
I don't even want to know what's going on here. I don't want to know what's going on.
Marcus, we can tell you after we roll the credits.
That's from Dynamite.
That was from Dynamite. This is from Dynamite. I do remember this. Yeah.
He shouldn't have been eating that pep, but at least he was eating healthy.
Yeah, we talk shit about him eating this bullshit. He ain't eating that.
Hey, Marcus, I have bad news for you.
That is a candy apple. Candy apple.
Marcus, I want to let you know something. I wanted you to hear from me. I didn't want you to hear from a third party, Marcus. I wanted you to know I signed that motherfucking petition. I did. Fuck Swerve Scott. Welcome, everybody, to the Sharpshooters. I'm Eric.
I'm the titillating Lord Manny Hayes.
And I am a Maximo Mel Marcus, the grand finale. And Eric, can I also say you look like in the intro, and I think we do need a new intro. You look like a gerbil in a suit in some of those pictures. And I go like, why is this gerbil in a suit? And what does he have to say?
I'm sitting here right now. You just called me a gerbil in a suit. I'm really upset by that.
Well, Eric, I got called a chipmunk motherfucker the other week. So
the gerbil, the chipmunk, and then me, the Maximo Mel Marcus.
I do have a problem, though. I do have a problem. Remember Slightly Larger Eric? When we played that intro, we saw it at the bottom. No one else saw it. we get the during the intro. There's the slim down Eric doesn't do the Batista thing anymore. What's going on?
I did it 2 weeks ago, man. I did it 2 weeks ago. I just figured nobody pay attention to my, so I do it mentally now.
Man, look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He is phoning it in. He's literally retired. This looks like he's about to go golfing right after this and play it with Bob Hope or Johnny Carson. And I think both are deceased, but Eric will be playing golf with those old white men in Florida later because of his.
Welcome to the show. He is Florida Eric.
You didn't understand, Marcus. I received an invitation to the mail from Tony Khan. He told me he wanted me to hash things out, so he invited me over to his yacht, and we're going to go and discuss things about my differences with him in AEW. That's what we're going to do. He's trying to give me some hush money, Marcus, because that was the headline this week. The Wall Street Journal reported that although Vince McMahon might walk to the back and say, fuck it, he can't say fuck it to this because guess what happened? Reports came that he's paid. Let me guess, not one, not two, not three, not four, but $12 million in hush money to 4 women. 4. We don't know who the 4 women are because there's NDA, but apparently Vince was living his best life. Manny, do you think the money was worth it? Because that was coming out in 2022.
Just leave the man alone. Let him do what he's got to do in peace. Wall Street Journal, leave him alone. Stop ruining lives.
16 years ago, Marcus, should we leave his sexing behind us? I mean,
well, here's what I have to say about all of this, and believe it is sexy. Like, first of all, the Wall Street Journal is getting more information on Vince, and the inside the dirt is being a better dirt sheet than the actual dirt sheet because the dirt sheet's been covering Vince McMahon for years. They ain't had shit on the man. They ain't had a lick of shit. They didn't even have the shit. And when you wipe your ass and you think you're done, and that little bit of shit is still left. They didn't even have that on Vince McMahon at all. And then the Wall Street Journal takes 1 week or 1 month on Vince McMahon, and they find out, it's an NDA here, there's an NDA here. $12 million for certain wrestlers here. It's ridiculous. It's outrageous, and I can't believe that they have done all this. And on a side note of all of this, let that man get some pussy on the side. He paid these women to shut up.
$1 million.
$12 million is a lot.
$1 million is a lot for a blowjob. That's a lot of money for that. I had to be some hellified head. But the question I have, because I know a lot of people are bent out of shape over this entire situation, and I don't know if they're upset with the idea of Vince using his position of power to maybe coerce these women into these sexual favors. I don't know if it was a mutual agreement between the parties involved, or if he was because he was not faithful with his wife, Linda. Marcus, why do you feel that
about Linda?
Why do you feel that everybody is so upset about Vince getting his rocks off?
Linda. Listen to me, Linda. I don't know if you guys remember that. Well, the whole thing is, I think that people, if it was, let's say, a rape of any guy, then I think people were concerned. But I don't think there was anything mentioned as a rape, right?
No, there's
one. I think
there's one, but I don't know how real that was.
Well, I kind of felt like from the little bit that I read in the article, it seemed like these were all encounters, or at least with his assistants, where it just kind of gravitated over time, and then next thing you know, it's like bum. I don't know, because guess what? There's an NDA, and we could all sit here, we can all speculate about everything. But Manny, do you think this will be the tipping point that makes him step down and disappear from the limelight of WWE?
No, it's Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon's going to do Vince. Like, they can remove him from the board, but they can't remove him from like actually being behind the scenes and like still calling the shots and stuff.
Yeah, they have a better chance of removing my black skin than they have a chance of removing Vince McMahon from the outside.
I didn't know that was something that you were seeking, Marcus. I didn't know you were seeking the removal.
I'm not seeking it. I'm saying that's impossible. It's no way I'm losing my black skin. But he ain't going nowhere. Just like Diddy said.
Let me just ask this question.
That man gonna die in that chair.
The last question I have for you guys in regard to this, as simple as this: Marcus, would you take some hush money to keep your mouth shut?
If it's around $12 million in hush money, yes.
Mark, no.
So he's paying $3 million. So you taking $3 million for shriveled up penis?
Damn. I was hoping Marcus was to be represented with penis for his hush money, but it's hush money, so we don't know what the money is coming from. But I mean, Mark, could you be bought? Could you be bought, Marcus?
I just want to say I'm a man. Okay, I'm a man. I am a man. I am a man, and a man, as a man, I would take the money.
Manny, would you take the hush money?
Of course, $3 million. Whenever someone says, "Would you do this for $1 million?" It's $1 million.
Manny's like,
let me tell you this. I'll let that shit leak later. Just my friend Manny will tell the story for me. I tell you that right now.
Marcus,
go unscathed me with your wrinkle.
Dick. Do you realize, dick. Mark? You do realize if you let the story leak, that you violate that NDA.
No, they like it'd be like them. It'd be years later, and be like, I hope so and so said. And I'll be like, I don't know anything about that. I don't know shit about that.
Mark, let me tell you something. I'm 100% sure that the people who signed the NDA, they didn't release this, and nobody in their camp did it. I'm letting you know it's probably one of these disgruntled executives that was released from WWE that knew about the money exchange and all this that decided to contact the Wall Street Journal. This is some petty stuff right here.
Oh yeah. They know too.
So,
I think everybody knew. Everybody knew what that man doing. Everybody know he was fucking around. There ain't no secret. And he paid. Everybody knew that people had to get baskets and shut the fuck up. That's what he was doing.
So Vince McMahon with his $12 million in hush money, it did start. What happened?
They said, it could be a wrestler from the 2003, 2005, 2006 era or something. Who you got?
I'm not gonna try to speculate about that because it's their personal business what they did. I'm not gonna be out there that I don't know who it could have been. I don't even think about it. That's how she got into those Alex Rodriguez parties. That makes sense. I think a lot of people.
I got anyone named Tori.
I'm pretty sure they were blonde.
Maybe you sprinkle a Christy Hemme in there. She had that push for no reason.
Maybe Tenelle Dashwood. That's why she's never been brought back to WWE.
That's too late.
Oh, okay.
It's too late.
But I'm not going to speculate. But Vince McMahon's story ended the week. But something that started the week, which was trending over social media, and the name Chris Benoit was trending, was because Jordan Grace said this on her Twitter account, and I will read it. I will read it verbatim because Manny has never heard this. I'm not really sure if Marcus has heard this, but this was what she said when commenting on Chris Benoit. This is going to be the coldest take I've ever tweeted on this app. I already know y'all going to be mad. I don't think Benoit could 100% hang with most of the present day wrestlers. He would not be able to remember matches. Also, may he burn in hell. Ooh. Amen. Ooh. Maybe I'm biased because he murdered his family. I don't know. Probably just me. I think we should all hate him and disregard his entire body of work. But again, that's just my take. I always found it revolting to see people praise his wrestling after what he did. Proving a point, I said something very lightly critical about him. People jump to defend him. He should never be defended. Dude lost that right when he gave his 7-year-old a Xanax and strangled him while he was already unconscious. End quote. That's what Jordan Grace said. Jordan Grace then proceeded to get a lot of people tweeting her, talking about Mark, I know your head is up, Marcus, but my mouth will not go shut, but I will go to you with this situation. Me being a former fan of Chris Benoit and, him being one of my favorite wrestlers of all, I agree wholeheartedly with her. It should be no reference. What he did is inexcusable. This is people coming to defend him. You can't defend his actions. Marcus, what did you want to say?
First of all, I know this is a serious topic, but I would like to light this up too. And Luchador's comment was absolutely hilarious. And I want to say you look like a AEW producer on his day off who had to come in and solve a crisis.
Black on Anderson.
Marcus, you do recall how happy I was at Double or Nothing when I got the trucker AEW hat, because I do like the trucker hats. That I don't have the fat in the back no more. But anyway,
would you like to be Black Jim Ross? or Black Arn Anderson?
No, because Jim Ross got demoted, man. He only get to do the last hour of Dynamite and then Rampage. Like, damn.
All right. So
Let me be Mark Henry. And you guys is right. Watch it old Raws, man. Fuck Mark Henry. He did look like me at one point. Just I'm a little lighter. Go ahead.
I think he's older than you, so I think you look like him.
You can save this for when you make your epic debut on the as you call it, the white only.
Wow.
His retro.
Wow.
You feel like you're breaking the color barrier, but I already did it.
I do it. I did it from the beginning.
I was the one to break the color barrier on retro. But let's go back to Jordan Gray's comment. One, I want to also agree with this one of the coldest comments in the history of Twitter, attacking the wrestling universe and everything that they believe. And two, she has the right to believe what she want to believe, and she's probably right. She's probably right. The man killed his family. Could be CTE. Who knows? I don't know. But the man kind of did it himself by driving himself into these extremes by himself in a chair. It was reprehensible. It is a horrible thing to happen to him, his family, his wife, who gets lost in the shuffle in this, who actually had a wrestling career as a manager, but she's never brought up because of his actions. So I have no problem with what Jordan Gray said. On the top of that, he can hang with the wrestlers of today. He'd be all right. We hang with him. I think he'd be better than every AEW wrestler that's imitating him, and most of the WWE guys are imitating him as well.
Manny, what about you? Do you have any take on this one, or are you gonna let this rest?
To be honest, I don't really care. She's a grown woman. She can think what she wants to think, you know. And end of the day, he is a murderer. Like and we can't be glorifying murderers. Yes, you can look back at the body at work at some point, but like realistically, I'm not. Every time I see him, I'll think back to what he did. So like, I'm not gonna watch it.
And Manny, this is the problem. Like, because as we all know, and I've said it many times on the show when we were doing it before and even after it happened, I was a huge Chris Benoit fan. I literally can't watch his matches anymore. It's like, and he has some great matches. When it comes, I'm like, nah, I just can't watch it because it does make you feel uneasy. It's crazy because you would think I would have that same reaction when I hear an R. Kelly song, but maybe because I don't hear many R. Kelly songs, it doesn't hit the same way.
Or you hate women. Florida Eric hate women. Yeah,
Marcus,
there it is. That hit him hard. That hit deep. That hit him deep. It's all right. I saw the slow motion. I've been hit. Look.
You know, Marcus, I need you to be the sleepy motherfucker that you was in the beginning of the show because you're throwing allegations out. First, I hate white people. Then you tell me I hate women. Marcus, next thing you know, you're going to tell me I hate animals. I'm sick of you, man. Just because I got my vacation calm shirt on. Eddie, I did not type Florida Eric in my name. My name was Eric. This is blasphemous right here. I am.
Eric, you were going to say, let me continue the sentence. You were going to say, you hate dogs and animals, you hate women, but you love abortion and guns. That's what you were about to say next. I knew it was coming, and I just wanted to prepare everybody. I know what you're about.
Florida Eric loves America.
Florida Eric says we shouldn't teach about slavery. That was a bad time.
I just want to sit here. I did not come here on this Saturday morning to be attacked this way with these allegations. None of these allegations are true.
You came dressed for retirement, and then you have the nerve to think me and him aren't gonna pick up on that.
Yeah, you started the show by kicking us off your line, okay? So I want to also chime in and say this about the watching people. I can still watch Benoit matches. I honestly am able to separate people from that. Like I think about it, but I still can enjoy some of their artwork. Like I can listen to R. Kelly. I can listen to Kanye and all his misgivings. I listen to Michael Jackson. I don't care. I still do it. These people were horrible. There are some horrible things that people do in the world, and there are still horrible things that people are doing. And I'm watching this stuff right now. I just don't know that they're doing it. So I'm able to be like, I just assume that all these people are horrible, disgusting people to begin with. And they have there's sometimes there are levels that shock me, and like the Benoit situation, you go like, oh dear, this is horrible. And then there's moments of like, oh, yep, I saw that shit coming. They're a piece of shit. But I can listen. I can do all that. I don't care.
I think for me,
I'm a monster.
People could do heinous things, but the fact that he killed 2 people, not just one, he killed 2.
No,
and the way he
did it. He killed a child.
Yeah.
He killed his child, who was defenseless.
I just
didn't the child also was disabled or something?
Yeah, he I think he was autistic or something of that nature. It's also it's worse. It's kind of like
everything about it. It's just horrible.
No, it's kind of like fuck Sonny all day too. Like F that bitch for what she did because she killed that person in that DUI. So like, I just
Sonny's a piece of shit too. She's a real piece of shit. If you watch The Boys, you understand where I'm coming from.
One day I'm gonna watch The Boys. One day.
Because basically, this Boys is basically like a spoof on celebrity culture.
Well, anyway, with that
or athletes or whatever, and glorifying them, and then how they do all that shit. But all these people are a piece of shit. They just find ways to cover it up.
Since it's been undercover that my new backstage job working for AEW has been uncovered, let's just jump into AEW. Let's Marcus, hit that graphic because you're in charge of the graphics. Go ahead, Marcus.
I'm not. I have not touched a single graphic all day. It is Manny on the ones and twos today.
So the next week you're producing.
So I already know that
Marcus. I'm producing my current state, Manny. Did you see me the star of this show? I cannot produce shit. Okay?
You know, if I had
how I'm alive.
You know, if I had the power to produce, then it would be a lot easier on both of you guys. But whatever. So let's just go over the quick. Let's go, Mark. I know you didn't watch Rampage.
We do not need an American flag in the middle of the show. And don't tread on me, Snake, on the other side of our logo.
Next thing you're gonna call me Uncle Sam. You're gonna call me Uncle Sam, man.
You ride hot rods on your weekend.
So that's the question. So if I had a gold chain on right here, would it be better?
Why, you gonna go get a gold chain?
No, I don't have a gold chain, man. But
it would be worse.
I feel like I definitely
for the old man in a midlife crisis. Next thing you know, you're gonna pull out a can and start sitting tobacco in it.
You know what? For all my loyal audio listeners, please visit our YouTube channel and please go into the comments and let these fools know that there's absolutely nothing wrong with my outfit today, that I look perfectly comfortable and perfectly fine. Just they are just upset that they are not relaxed and as casual as I am today as I'm recording this show. It's jealousy, people. That's what this is. It is jealousy, people. And that's why they are resorting to calling me names and calling me Florida Eric. Just let them know in the comments that they are wrong. And I am fashionably comfortable.
You look like Tom Arnold.
So anyway, jumping into Rampage.
You look like you need a sleeping cap and you're ready for a nap.
No, El Luchador, that is too far. I am not Clarence Thomas. I have married a black woman. I have not taken this. I have not taken this abuse, damn it. Anyway, Eddie Kingston defeated.
I didn't know I walk up into a roast. I did not realize we were going this route at all.
Eddie Kingston defeated Takeshita, which was a good match. The Gates of Agony, Khan and Toa defeated Lee Moriarty and Jonathan Gresham because, Marcus, you missed one of your favorite moments in professional wrestling, Marcus. This was a tag match. Lee Moriarty went for the hot tag, and guess what happened, Marcus? Guess what happened?
Moved off the rope.
Jonathan Gresham jumped off the rope, Marcus.
Fuck.
And apparently, Marcus, this whole cahoots is that he is now in line with Tully Blanchard's crew. Don't understand this at all, but the little man is now part with Tully.
Never trust a man that can barely see over the top rope. Never trust a man that can barely see over the top rope.
You think that was going to be the only turn that took place on Rampage, but no, we had Serena Deeb team up with Mercedes Martinez, who defeated Kayla Sparks and Christine Marie, and right after the match, Serena Deeb turned on Mercedes Martinez.
Mercedes Martinez had it coming. She deserved it. Mercedes Martinez deserved it.
And then the main event, Marcus.
What did she do? Hold on. Why did she deserve it? Can Manny elaborate? I did not watch Rampage. So for Tony Khan to do something so unoriginal as double tag team partners turning on each other. Why?
So you know what Serena Deeb's about. You're gonna get the business. Even after the bell, you're gonna get the business. So Serena Deeb would continue giving the business after the bell. And then Mercedes Martinez was like, get off her. And that's when it was like, Serena Deeb was like, you want some too? And then gave it to her.
Can I also add this? So you have not been surrounded by as many people of color. I'm assuming that's 100% true. And I also want to say Eric and Tony Blanchard have something in common when he does this show. Also, hi, bro.
The main event was Orange Cassidy versus Tony Nese, with the stipulation that if Tony Nese defeated Orange Cassidy would sign a petition to get rid of Swerve Scott. So, of course, I was cheering for Tony Nese in this match. However, because Danhausen got involved, Orange Cassidy got the win. My only question I had about this, so does this mean that Hookhausen is over? Is it done? Is it over?
Well, they played a video package for Hook, but it seemed like they were done. Okay. But like no one knows what Hook's about or what he's doing. There's no direction.
Because they said he's a man of little words. That's what they talked about. I was like, I guess it's a package, but it's really not helping me at all.
Do they plan on doing anything with Hook? I feel like he was a thing, that he was like Tony's next thing, but he never got off Rampage.
He's not Tony's next thing. It's more that he's that buzz thing where he's just fighting jobbers and everyone's like, send Hook. And so like everyone was like, oh, he was a meme for a bit. And then like realistically, he hasn't done anything since, and it's been what, 6 months?
I would actually say that he was probably at one point he was like the second best push person in the company that had no outside experience within the company, like their new star. Currently, their best star that they have actually created, and he is now the new TNT champion. That is Wardlow. I mean, he defeated Scorpio Sky. It's a mixed bag of worms because Scorpio Sky, he never gets his due shot in, but I think the writing was on the wall that Wardlow deserved to have the title. The point is, can they keep the momentum that they have for Wardlow now that he has the title? Because a face with a title is very difficult. And Marcus, did you like the title change of Wardlow becoming the new TNT champion?
I'm fine with him becoming TNT champion because Scorpio Sky wasn't really doing anything with that title. And I would hope that they could bring some importance to that title again, maybe with Wardlow, and some interest, because it seemed like the AEW or Tony Khan or whoever is in charge, whatever, lost all interest in that title at some point between the Sammy Guevara run or the Scorpio Sky. So maybe we can get some more interest back into that TNT, because at one point that was my favorite title / division because it was always. I enjoyed those guys. What?
Mark, I got a word from production, Marcus. Tony Khan was in my ear. He let me know that he lost interest once they kicked Dynamite off of TNT and put it to TBS. He was upset by that, and that's why he started to bury the TNT title. That's what happened in that situation.
It was around that same time. So I'm okay with that title. I didn't like the logic of the match. If you have all those guys out there, you think you'll have a better strategy of retaining your title, or if you just run, fuck it, run. I have no shame. So that was it. I don't know how you feel that you can't get to see Genie no more. That was the closest Genie will ever get to a championship this year.
With that being said, I'm not going to even acknowledge that. I'm not going to acknowledge that. Marcus is full of hell today. I don't know why.
Can I ask you a question? Go ahead, so Tony Khan put out a tweet last night that the All Atlantic title is going to be defended at Rev Pro, but the actual match is going to be on AEW Dark, and then highlights of that match is going to be put on Dynamite. If you're trying to establish a title, regardless of if it's a traveling title, does it make sense to put the full match on AEW Dark, a YouTube show, and then show like a small video package on Dynamite when you're trying to establish that title?
I think that's where title. That's where I think the backwards ass booking AEW happens, where they, they ride the wave and the trends too much. I mean, like, and they don't care about the foundation. Like, you made this big deal that it was a tournament for this All Atlantic title, and then you don't even give me the title match in its entirety. Like, you want me to go to the YouTube channel, and then you're going to give me some highlights. That's just some second fiddle shit right there. Like, that makes me say, oh, this title's not important at all, because at least like all the other titles people talk behind stage. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to see the TNT title on television more now with Wardlow having it than we had in a while, because they didn't care about Scorpio Sky or Sammy Guevara as the champion. So, and it's like, I think this is the problem that AEW is running to, and I know Marcus was really against this, that they're going to have too many belts, and these belts are not going to really represent anything. They're just going to be like paperweights. They're not going to mean anything at all. El Luchador said in the chat room he thinks it makes sense. I Please elaborate how it makes sense to you. I'm curious about that. So please let us know in the chat.
I can elaborate. I'm okay with it. I don't mind it.
This is the man that wants all the titles be merged. You okay with this? Go ahead and explain this to me, Mr. Hypocrite.
I don't think this title needs to exist, but I don't have a problem with it being defended on a different promotion or something on a global scale to try to build your audience. And I don't have a problem with it actually just showing up on Dark because it's, they have too many titles and not enough TV time. Whatever. I think they're going to at least show us the match. I don't have to go. You don't have to find out on ETE what happens. Although we probably won't even cover this on ETE because this is so everything else. And I would also like to say, Pac, welcome back to 205 Live. You're only seen on the internet with your title. It's the same thing. I'm just saying. I'm okay with it.
All right. So my next question I had that happened this week. Oh, you have something.
Manny, what are your thoughts on it being on YouTube? Do you have a problem with it, or?
I think, I just think it's, if you want, it'd be fine to move it over to the YouTube after it's been on TV a few times. Like, at least establish it before you move it over. Like, for like Eric, it generally, for me, it means nothing at this point when you put it over there. Like, sure, it'll mean something when it's defended all across the world, but you're not going to see these types of matches all the time because I'm not going to watch Dark for that.
But I think this is just how the trend of AEW goes, to be quite honest. They have something new for a couple of weeks. They promote that new thing. And then guess what happens? Something else new comes and they forget about that. And the new thing that was once new becomes relegated to yesteryear. Ruby Riott is a good example of that.
Put my hand in the door. But no, let me also say, I also agree that I think it will be forgotten. That was so good.
That's fucking stupid.
Hold on. I also agree with you guys that title will become kind of forgotten. One of those titles that will be forgotten as it's being defended on YouTube and you hear about it on Dark Elevation at the package traveling shows. But I think the concept of a European title / Intercontinental title that's actually being defended across the globe is actually good. I feel like that's okay. But I do not like this extra belt that's going to be forgotten. I feel like it's going to fall in the vein of like the Ring of Honor title.
So, Manny, so I can stay on track with the things I want to talk about. Christian Cage is trending a lot this week. And I guess because he's doing heel shit. My question for you, is he really doing heel shit or is he just saying mean shit that he knows will get a pop? Because like some of those shots that he was some of the shots he was taking was just so easily, and I'm just like, once he runs out of mean shit to say, will he be relevant?
Well, you never can run out. If you're a cold motherfucker, you can never run out of cold things to say, Eric. I lie. This show, we're roasting your ass. We are bad people. But there was a better question, Eric. Not to shit on what you were saying.
You just said if you said you have a better question, go ahead. Maybe you should host Saturday and I could be a guest.
No, our pork chop stays the same. All right, so let's get this going. All right. Let me say this. Pac. I'm not Pac. I'm sorry. I'm tired. Christian. They had a question about who's the better promo, or Christian or Edge, and there was this big discussion in some group about how Christian has always been the better wrestler in promo than Edge. I don't know. Where do you guys stand on that comment of Christian being the better promo / wrestler?
I don't think I need to say anything else. I think El Luchador just dropped the mic with his last comment that he put right there, that he says Christians speaking more truth than actual Christians. I mean, it's actually true. I mean, my favorite thing is that someone has said that, oh, yep, you could definitely understand that Christian is a heel now because he has the I'm a heel outfit on with the turtleneck in the middle of the summer with a turtleneck and jacket, just whatever. Manny, do you care about Christian yet, or is he still?
Oh, so my question is not going to be answered.
No. So I think Christian is I think Christian is the better promo because he says more by saying less. Like if you look at what Edge was doing with Judgment Day. Look at how long he took to get his point across. Like, it took forever.
And then let's also be honest, with Christian, he's a creepy little bastard. So when he says stuff, it's like, I need him to hurry up and get along because he looks really weird. I mean, it is, but, like, I don't know if I feel that those comments that he was taking, like, at Matt might have been too soon. I mean, we don't know the situation.
Nah,
okay.
Jeff
Okay.
has it coming.
Okay.
Jeff has it coming.
I actually liked the debut of Roosh in AEW. I thought he had a solid debut, and I actually thought AEW did a really good job of foreshadowing talking about the mask and how that's how he ended up winning the match.
But I would like to say that I think Edge I think he just has slightly over Christian.
We're still there.
Because I have some say on it. I think Edge slightly has it above Christian because Christian is going after this low hanging fruit comments, which is nice, and he's without borders. But Edge be acting his ass off in some of his promos where he be going hard on stuff, and I don't know if Christian has that range. That's all I wanted to add.
All right, so unfortunately, this week spelled the demise of a faction that might have been short-lived, but the Acclaim and the Gun Club are apparently done, man. We will no longer be able to scissor me.
Scissors each other.
So clearly, this was just a faction that was made just so Bowens could heal up. And then once Bowens got back together, we no longer need to be together.
I just don't understand. This is the most interesting both teams has been when they were together. I can care less about the Gun Club by themselves. Casting's gonna be casted. And Routman and stuff, that's always gonna be there. But them breaking them up was actually kind of heartbreaking. Why would we do this so soon? I enjoyed them together. The Ass Boys and the Acclaim was a thing. That was a thing. We had something that I really enjoyed. It was, to me, it was the modern D-Generation X without the racism, homophobia, sexism, misogyny, and everything else that D-Generation X was when they were in their prime.
Unfortunately, Marcus, it was just like every young black kid who thinks they have a father figure in their life. As soon as they think they have it, he walks away and turns his back on them. And that's what Billy Gunn did to the Acclaim.
I thought you were talking about Rey Mysterio.
No.
Booyaka.
Hey, he got to win this week. Although, it's Sunday.
No, you missed last week where Judgment Day were talking shit to Ray being a bad father, and then Ray said, and I quote, "You wait till next week, and I'll show you how I'm a bad father."
And that was the way he did it, by showing that he ain't worth a damn, that Eddie Guerrero should have been his Dominic real father, and that he's learned all his best moves from Eddie, because Rey Mysterio ain't taught Dominic shit, and you know it. Send that boy to NXT and boarding school.
We will never hear those words again. Scissor me, daddy ass. Those words are now dead. Manny, were you sad or crestfallen when it happened, or you knew this time was coming?
You knew it was coming. And the sad part about it is this is as far as they're going to go with the Acclaimed. Because I don't see the Acclaimed getting anything higher than this. There are too many decent teams in
So Manny, with that being said, Betty, there has to be the question that has to be asked there, because you said you see nothing with the Acclaim. So the question for you that I'm going to ask you, who is the Marty Jannetty of the Acclaim? Who will not be successful with the Acclaim?
Bowens.
Yeah, you got to think it's Bowens, but Bowens can actually go in the ring.
I'm going with Caster being the one that's going to be Jannetty, because I think the only thing he can do is talk. I think Bowens is actually a really good wrestler. And before he got hurt, he was having a streak of some great single matches on Dynamite and Rampage.
Can I jump in and say?
Go ahead, brother.
I don't think there's a Sean or a Jannetty in either one of them. I have them in the same vein as I had the New Age Outlaws. They need to just stay together because I don't see it actually working without one without the other. You can't have one without the other. I think there's a story we need to touch on, and I would say it after this. I think the Acclaim, and this may be my hot take of the week, can be more over as baby faces than FTR. And I love me some FTR and Dax and all the titles they win and all the matches they have and separate. But if the Acclaim was ever pushed as a solid babyface tag team, as a underdog tag team going after some of these big tag teams such as your FTR, your Young Bucks, or whatever, I think that would be big business. I think the crowd. I think there would be a hunger for that by the time they get there.
Is it because you feel like FTR is more prone to wearing what I'm wearing today on this live stream than the Acclaim?
Well,
is that why?
Dax will 100% wear this in 20 years. He ain't that old yet. You old man.
So the last thing I want to speak.
You pay money in coins at this current moment,
Marcus.
Eric. That's how you look.
Marcus, I will let you ask whatever last question because I had only one more thing I want to touch on in AEW, and that was the main event.
Huh? I just want to say in AEW tag teams, but I forgot my comment. Never mind.
So the main event on Dynamite took place. It was Jon Moxley going against Brody King, and ironically, it was actually a solid match. My big issue with this whole entire match was the fact that it was a match for the AEW championship, and I didn't understand how and why Brody King got this title shot. It just made no sense in the grand scheme of things. Where you could have just did he win a battle royal?
Yeah.
When?
Battle royal on Rampage last Friday.
Oh, and so that's how he got the title shot. So the guy who was number 2 ranked just got skipped over.
Fuck him. Fuck them.
Oh.
Fuck the rankings. Brody King won the battle royal.
Okay. Well, then I can't say anything. If you explain that, Mark. So what was your question that you forgot?
I still can't remember. It was something about tag teams in AEW. If you guys could list a bunch of random tag teams, maybe it would John
Private Party.
The Rough Bunch.
No, man, you don't bring them up. Don't you bring them up? You know that's a sore spot for me. God damn, how dare they treat Leon Ruff like that? At least WWE treated him with respect before they released his ass, teaming up with them jobbers.
I love the Luchador's comments toward these match versus match he lost. But did I know? God damn it, you lost. Oh. What was I can't remember the question. It was something that was like
FTR, the Young Bucks.
Ricky
Starks and the other black guy.
Jungle Man and Pillman Jr.
Manny, let me ask you a question because Marcus has always interrupt you when I ask you a question. Do you like the new evil Luchasaurus that comes from the depths of hell, apparently, now because of his graphic?
Yeah, but I still need Christian to explain that. I wanted to know why he's with Christian. But no, Matt Hardy had to come out and steal some time.
So
clout
Marcus,
chase was the thing I was looking for.
So since Marcus can't remember his question, I'm assuming it will come back to him eventually. So
it's not. I think it's gone. I think I'm that tired. It's gone, and maybe there was never a question to begin with.
So I'm about to hop into my boat and sail across the swamp into the WWE universe of the nature and start off with the return of the Almighty, the Tribal Chief. Roman Reigns made his epic return to Friday Night SmackDown. He came out with the bloodline. He was in a great mood. He was happy to be there with his cousins. He was happy to be back there to be acknowledged. But unfortunately, his wise man had some issues. And he made him open up his hand, which was by far the most funniest thing because I swear to God, Paul Heyman looked like he was about to get stabbed with a knife. And he put the microphone in his hand. And then what happens? Paul Heyman starts talking about what he always talks about, Brock Lesnar being put into a corner. And let's not forget that Theory was at the top of the ramp looking at Roman Reigns, who he didn't care. Manny, how did you feel about the opening segment?
Commercial.
The promo was great by Paul Heyman. Like, because we don't get Roman that much anymore, you miss out on Paul. And the fact that he started off trembling and then saying he's afraid that Brock Lesnar, when he's put in the corner, he becomes a different type of animal. And then turn into a big rah-rah speech of get him, Roman, kill him, put him down for 10 seconds.
Yeah. It did. Marcus, did you like the opening segment? Did you like having Roman's presence on? Like, even if that was the only time you saw him, but it did enough to say, like, this is the real show right here.
He was somebody that you were like, you saw him and you just wanted to embrace him right away. Like, it's Roman, yes, and Paul. Like, the segment felt familiar. It was nice. I love the hype that Paul brings to the table, and it got me excited. Like, this is the tribal team. This is Roman Reigns. This is the head of the table and all that. We the ones. And the segment started off with few people sprinkled in ones, but by the time that shit was over, everybody had their fingers in the air because Paul had turned. Like, this is the man. This is the man. Fuck Brock Lesnar.
So do you think Brock Lesnar could bring the same energy to Monday Night Raw this week when he's there?
Cowboy Brock, I don't know who he planned on killing, but That's all he can. That's mostly he can do. He can destroy, but he can't bring that with a promo.
So, Marcus, the question I'm gonna have for you, Marcus, have you ever got an ass kicking ticket for somebody and then end up getting your ass kicked, and then you resort to social media? Coffee Kingston posted the ticket, and it had the fine print on there that says, "If so happen, the Viking Raiders get the advantage. This ass kicking ticket is null and void or something like that, where it's still valid." So
he prepared to put that ass whooping.
Yeah, while you speak of, I will get the exact quote that the fine print says on the ticket.
Okay, but as I swear to God, if someone had this ticket, if WWE Shop sold this ticket, Eric, I would buy the shit out of this ticket, and yes, I will turn it in every now and then. Some people would turn it away. I think society as a whole would be better if we had ass kicking tickets, and you had the right to whoop somebody's ass. If you go to the ass kicking committee and you tell them, I need to get revenge on this dude, and all I want to do is fill out this proper paperwork to whoop their ass and pay this fee and this fine. Let me get this out the way because I'm gonna whoop his ass. And if I get my ass whooped, I cannot get a refund, but this ticket is not void because I still owe them an ass whooping. I think legitimately in life that would make the world a better place.
The ass beating fine print read, if the Viking Raiders happen to gain a physical advantage, then that beatdown will not count. That's simple as that. Manny, did you enjoy this segment, or did this segment make you cringe because they did get their ass kicked?
I mean, it was funny because it was like, who talks a big game like that and then gets destroyed?
You've seen him on up, down. That motherfucker had that ticket in the pocket.
No, the thing was I thought you guys bought the ticket to kick their ass, but it looks like the ticket that you bought was to get your ass kicked. And I was like, you know what? This is what it was. And then this ass kicking followed another ass kicking. Was by far, I think, my favorite segment of the week in professional wrestling because I am a fan of the Gunther and the whole. He was supposed to have an open challenge, but he said a fool would have an open challenge. That's to prepare. Then Nakamura comes out, was like, well, I'll fight Kaiser. And then he fights Kaiser, and then Kaiser loses. And the next thing you know, Kaiser has to pay for his sins. And I think being chopped is like the greatest payment. And like he made him get up. And I felt like he should have gave him one more. The crowd should have started chanting one more chop. Manny, is this how you handle your disciples, man? Is this how, if you had the ability to manage people this way in your employment, would you do it?
I mean, yes, but it's very archaic, and I don't think that shit would fly with HR. So I'm no. the thinking there would be yes, I would like to do that, but no.
Manny's first day of business. Hey, yeah, guys, I run it. Do the store department. The cashier, shirt on money. Manny, get over here. What are you doing over here? Wow. So everybody's looking like, oh shit.
And that was a female he chopped. It was like, oh no, that's not it. That's not gonna get us.
Hey, Eric, I'll tell you this right now. I know this is pro wrestling. I know it's scripted television, but if Gunther hit me like that, man, I think I'm throwing blows at him. He was hitting Kaiser a little too hard. He was hitting me too hard. You hit me too hard because those weren't your traditional leg slap kind of slap sounds. That was a thud on some of those chests. That was a
like, that was all sternum. That was all sternum and rib.
It was not a good slap. It was like you.
I do have a question for you about this, Marcus. How did it feel to see a rejuvenated Nakamura, Marcus? Because I know he seemed like he was down and out ever since he lost Boogs, but this seemed like an invigorated Nakamura. They even let him say a couple of words.
Yeah, I want to say this for the record. You give me Gunther and Nakamura at SummerSlam in a real match, and you just let them do what they do, man, my dick be hard, and I ain't never going away. I'll tell you that right
Mark,
now.
you know you don't have no $4 million to pay people. So there it is. There it is.
Can we invoke this ticket on our show whenever we want to talk shit?
Against who?
Manny, we already know. Manny, I already know who you used the ass beating ticket against, so we're not going to even say that.
I've seen comments there. I think this ticket will be used several times in the lumber chat. Right now, it's a peaceful lumber chat because the luchador is the only one in it. But there are times when this shit got hostile. I know I've
seen sunshine and I've seen rain, man. I have. So moving on. Liv is Liv Morgan is living her best life because she was on Raw.
I knew you were gonna say that.
She was on Raw, and then she was interrupted by Natty. And then, rightfully so, Carmella said, y'all asses take this shit to SmackDown. And that's the first thing Carmella has ever said that was correct. And the shit should have been taken to SmackDown. However, I didn't think Liv was going to take her literally because she took the shit to SmackDown and the same shit happened. Liv comes out to the ring. She's like, oh, I'm so happy, blah, blah, blah. Natty interrupts. And then this time, Ronda comes out with a lip. And next thing you know, we get a Ronda and Natty match. And I'm like, I didn't need this at all. Didn't need it. Marcus.
No one asked for this at Money in the Bank, and no one asked for a repeat. Let's see that again. That'd be fun. This ain't Sheamus Drew McIntyre.
Is Liv Morgan gonna do this week in and week out, Marcus? Is she gonna do this week in and week out? Because if she is, I need her to lose this title.
Well, I want to say these are the best promos of Liv's career, and that's not saying much, but these are the best promos of her career, and she's drawing the numbers here. So let Liv do what she got to do. Let Liv live until she loses at SummerSlam, where the wrestling universe or the WWE universe and the fan base that is left will go, fuck this. I'm canceling my Peacock subscription. They don't want to build nobody. Liv Morgan was a star, damn it. And you keep giving it to Ronda Rousey. Fuck you.
Manny,
losing that title.
I thought this was probably the best Ronda look again. I thought because you get little doses of Ronda, and I think little doses of Ronda is a lot better than the big doses of Ronda. Do you agree with that assessment, or did you want this segment just to be over?
The sell of the leg was terrible. The sell of her bum knee was so bad.
Zombie Ronda.
It was so bad. But yeah, I think less her speaking on the mic was better.
And she was a bit of a heel in this one, right? On the mic when she's talking. So I appreciate heel Ronda more than I appreciate.
It wasn't necessarily heel though, was it?
It's
quasi.
It was on the line. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was on the line. The thing she said mostly was, Liv, it's easier to win the title, but it's more difficult to defend it. So like that wasn't that heelish. And kind of stating a fact.
She didn't say anything else. I feel like she said
because you get to say, because Liv says now that I have this big target on my back, and she said that shit on Raw. It was like, so it's like it's the same segment, just on different shows in different colors. But something that we can all bask in with Wimbledon going on, it was so nice to see what the Maximum Male Models had in store for us as they debut the tennis collection this week. Apparently, white shorts is what's in style this year. Marcus,
it's every year at Wimbledon.
Yeah, Wimbledon is just white shirt and shorts.
I know it is, but those were hoochie daddy shorts, man. And
can you look at the glow on these two? Look at that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Masay has a bronzer on him, man. That is a bronzer, and he looks like he is happy doing whatever he's doing with his painted fingernails. Didn't realize that they were painted. Will they ever have a wrestling match, guys? Will they ever wrestle?
I don't care. I don't care.
I know what Mace can do in the ring. But
I just need more adjectives from
Manny, let me tell you, if WWE was allowed to do cameos, I would have to buy one for Max Dupree to open up for the new opening, because the way that he was describing everything, I was like, damn, go ahead, sir.
Probably the overall best top 5 best talkers in wrestling right now is Max Dupree, in whatever formation or form he is. I love this. I think that people who shit on this also celebrate shitty gimmicks that are also in the indies. But if this was on the indies, people would be like, oh, this is great. And then they shut up on AEW Dark. It'll be amazing. That's what people would say. And that's just what my hot take on the wrestling fans. I love this. This is so entertaining. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. And that's generating heat. And people hate this so much. And they're going out there and they're going out their way to boo them in every way, fashion. And it's so booable. To me, I'm dying laughing every time I see it. I think it's just great heel work.
Well, speaking of for the segment I would like to call That Was Quick, Lacey Evans is a bad guy already. It happened. All it took was for her to team with Aaliyah, and it was over. Like Betty.
Yeah, she had all the right in the world to be.
Is that the way that you turn heel? You wait for the proper response for people to cheer you, and if they don't cheer you
for her country, Eric, she deserves all the cheers and everything. But Aaliyah deserved it. Aaliyah deserved it. She's been
I'm
fired a
gonna-
long time ago. She deserved it.
Marcus, I think they need to stop trying to make Lacey Evans a face. It never works. It usually is the quickest turn in WWE. It's like, we're going to try again. No, she's evil. She's an evil, despicable bitch.
Yeah, and she's so much better than heel. And even in this segment, it was like, "Oh, Lacey's back."
That's what it felt like.
The Southern Belle, whatever she says, that she just wanted to fight. Eric, these people have no reason to boo Lacey Evans on a. If wrestling was a shoot, as they say in the biz, if it was, you have no reason to boo it after her story of overcoming all the odds, being a Marine and serving her country. She has never hurt nobody, did anything wrong. She has been a good person her whole life and overcome all this adversity. And for people to boo her climbing up that ladder is disgusting. But with that being said, I'm happy that we have the character changes. It's so much better. But when they turn Xia Li Hill, who just got mad one day for no reason.
I mean, Lacey Evans, like, I remember we were at Money in the Bank. It was like, oh, they're booing her. And it was like, she was one of the big questions, like, damn, why are they booing her? She has done nothing wrong. And it's just and it's just like with Bobby. Bobby became this overface. Like, why are we cheering Bobby so much in this situation? Like, Bobby Lashley's like, hey, Bobby. And whatever happened to Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler? They showed up that one time. They even
Omos and left. But Lacey Evans wasn't just booed. She came out to no reaction first.
Yeah.
And then the reaction she got for climbing the ladder was get this bitch off the ladder.
Yeah.
Whoa. Don't let her do it. Don't let her do it.
So then
by the way, Charlotte, can you please come back?
Yeah, then SmackDown proceeded with what probably one of the most useless, unnecessary matches that no one asked for, but apparently the Usos had to defeat Los Losterios. Just happened. Just
why was that on?
Like, I don't know. Manny, it wasn't advertised. It seemed like whatever it to me, it kind of made it seem like the segment with Lacey turning heel and turning on Aaliyah was not planned, and they had to scramble to put a match right there to fill some time. I don't know. It was very weird to me.
I think there's some clause in the Uso says if I show up to work, I have to work. and
they
are on every show, and they don't just come out and talk anymore. They have a match every single show, twice a week, twice on Sunday sometimes.
And so, you know, me being the smart wrestling fan that I am, and I'm pretty sure Marcus did the same thing. When you came to the main event, you looked at the top of the clock, and it was like, man, it's not enough time for a Sheamus Drew McIntyre match.
Yeah,
some bullshit about to happen. Like, this don't make no sense. So when Sheamus came out there, who fitted a coffin? Talking about he got a touch of COVID. First of all, if he only have a dose of COVID, he needs to go to science because someone needs to figure out how you can get by. Although he was spread it up, and then he at least
is that the heel move of the year?
It might be.
You're just going into an arena with a dose of
with a dose of COVID. Like, he literally walked into the arena like a nuclear bomb. And like, you know, he came out there, he yelled out, fella, like the spit is flying everywhere. I mean,
fella,
like, fucking quarantine. I'm coming out with, but then he goes and he pats Butch on his chest, realized he spread the COVID to Butch and to Ridge.
I'm like, McIntyre's got it.
Yeah, I'm like,
class of the castle is not happening, Manny, because this is how the spread began.
Manny, considering this is your main event for the pay-per-view that you're going to, do you like the fact that they're trying to drag this entire segment out of who's going to face the champion at Clash of the Castle?
Yeah, because you got to get past SummerSlam first. We still got like, what, 3 weeks? And then we've got a whole month before, like, the whole of August to get through before we get to Clash of the Castle.
Okay, so I have 2 questions, and one of them is my tag team question from all the way back. I remember.
Oh, he finally remembered it.
Yeah. And it's the weirdest thing that popped in my head. It has something to do with the ass beating tag team of the but whatever. Drew McIntyre versus Roman Manny, or Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar? Which one do you want at Clash of the Castle? This is a personal question for you.
I kind of want Sheamus versus Roman because we have seen it before, but we haven't seen it in a very long time. So I think that would be a better match to watch. given that they're more booable. I think Drew, he got a reaction in where were they lost on SmackDown, Texas? I think they were in
Friday
Texas.
was Texas. Yeah, Friday was Texas.
Yeah, he got a reaction there, but like he'll probably get a reaction in Wales. But like I would rather watch Sheamus. But then you've got two big heels going against each other, so it's going to be Drew. We all know it's going to be Drew.
Sheamus will turn face in a minute, Manny. Or would you rather get the option C, Sheamus versus Brock Lesnar, main eventing Clash at the Castle, which would be the match I would rather see. Just to see them beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't. When was the last time that happened? Like, the thing is, you presented a multiple of options they could go down, and they've got 2 months to get there. So
and the thing about it, both options that you guys vote is Sheamus. It's like I want Sheamus. I don't care who Sheamus is fighting. Give me Sheamus.
I don't want you. I want Sheamus.
And at the same time, hey Marcus, I think Sheamus is the right decision. I also agree. I would rather see Sheamus, and nothing against Drew. Nothing against Drew, but
it is.
Drew is stale,
no. I tell you what. If I don't get Sheamus versus Roman or Brock Lesnar, I want Sheamus versus Gunther for the Intercontinental title.
Yep, be amazing.
Ooh.
That would be amazing. And then you got to think after that you've got Survivor Series, and then if Gunther retains, you get Gunther versus Bobby. That'd be incredible.
Manny, fuck that. I need Roman versus Roman. That was the villain I need for Survivor Series.
Roman versus Roman.
Roman versus Roman.
I just want Roman looking into the mirror going like, I'm going to beat your ass. I'm going to smash him. I'm going to smash them all. Now I got to smash myself.
Mark, you had a tag team question that you wanted to ask too. Because I was going to ask a question.
So this AEW thing, it's because we're back in this tag teams. Santana or Ortiz on the outs with each other. Santana's injured right now. Yeah. So what do you guys think of that whole situation? Them hating each other, not following each other on Twitter no more, never being around each other anymore, and that they have pretty much went their separate ways. Santana wants to be a solo wrestler. Who's the Jannetty? Who's the Michaels? And what's going to happen to them now that they hate each other?
I'm gonna go first on this one. I think, as Manny said earlier with the claim, I think they're better together than apart. I think this is a product of AEW not really letting take advantage of them when they came in, because they put them in so many bad situations where people never really got to accept them as only being pretty much Chris Jericho flunkies. That's what they were, and now they went from being Jericho flunkies to now being a part of the Blackpool Combat Club flunkies. And this is like, you never really get to see what they did as a tag team. And I think that Santana is a very prideful man, and he's like, I could do bad by myself, so let me just break this up. And I could also see Ortiz like being a company man, because I think this is the process of like contracts being renewed and whatnot, because I know they had a whole list of AEW wrestlers who contracts probably won't be renewed, and I'm pretty sure they went to Santana and Ortiz to renew contracts, and I'm pretty sure one of them said, no, I'll resign. The other one was like, no, they haven't treated them well. Let's be honest. They have not treated LAX well since they came.
Was the Santana one. Santana was the one that put it out. Yeah, he may be out.
Go ahead, man.
But I was going to say, I think there's more upside with Ortiz. I think there's a bit more of a character there. Santana's kind of just a guy for me. When I watched him in AEW and what you got to see of him, like Ortiz had more of mic time than anything.
And let me be honest, I'm not a big fan of curly hair Santana. I think once he got his hair curly, it just didn't sit right with me. And that could just because I have my Banana Republic shirt on right now.
So if you NXT 2.0 and you're Triple H and you're holding your indie tryouts or whatever the hell he does these days, Santana walks into your room. Are you signing Santana? I feel like Ortiz is going to stay.
I mean, he's a big dude, but you've already got Damian Priest.
You can sign him in the right situation.
I think for me, I need to see. Yeah, for me, I need to see him as a singles wrestler before you can even say that.
Because like, if it was me, like I would probably bring him into NXT and link him up with Escobar, and like that's kind of like doing the same thing that he's doing. But like, it's like, you're kind of doing the same thing that you're doing in AEW, and I think he wants to be a single star. So, I mean, more power to, like, sometimes you got to bet on yourself, and I'm all about that. You bet on yourself and you go and you do it. I mean, and it's okay to go different ways, but I really think that AEW really missed the opportunity Like we never really got any great matches that they could have had with everybody because they were always being the flunkies for Jericho.
Yeah, I honestly can't remember a single title match they had if they ever had a title match for the AEW tag team titles. And they were the original, like, oh shit, they got LAX in AEW. They never really got that push. They've just been hanging around Jericho since the word jump, and I think that's been totally disrespectful for them. And I can see where Santana, who I think is the one who is done with the AEW for this, it's the one who's upset, and I think Ortiz is still like, oh, yeah, I still stay here. So I got more upside with Santana than Ortiz.
So with the writing being on the wall, since we're talking about this, I mean, they've been teasing it on WWE television left and right about dysfunction and disdain between the Street Profits, and they continue to do it. I feel like the last couple of weeks, Dawkins has really been trying to show himself that, hey, I ain't the flunky this one. Manny, your head went up really quickly, so I'm really concerned what you have to say about this. So go ahead.
Dawkins has spoken out. He's tired of the people. He is tired of the people saying that he's the piece of shit in this team. He said it wasn't bothering me before, but now it is.
You know who Dawkins sounded like? He sounded like Russell Westbrook on the Lakers said, hey, I'm the best player on this team, or whatever he said. And I'm like, Dawkins, I appreciate you standing up for yourself, but sit your fat ass down.
It sounded like he went to pay to you, man. He's like, I can do some stuff too. I've been in WWE development for a long time. I'm not just the kind of guy. I can eat 22 wieners, you know, although Tosawa ate 48, but we didn't see that shit on camera, but whatever. It's one of those things. It's going to be an interesting turn whenever it happens. I just don't know when it's going to happen, but it's funny that they're mentioning it, and Kayla's reported it. The commentators are talking about it. It's a quite interesting turn of events.
Well, Montez flexing, going, this isn't my final form.
Once again,
he's only talking about his solo run.
Let's also continue with these unions. I think it was made official on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw that Miz and Ciampa are actually a thing because they shook hands. Normally, when people shake hands, that means that they are conglomerate. Marcus, are you happy that it might mean that Ciampa has some type of direction now on their main roster?
Well, it seems like they do. They have some direction for him, and you know, I can see Ciampa being a good mercenary for the Miz. He's probably gonna be the mercenary Tommaso Ciampa, pretty much, and just fighting all the Miz's battles so the Miz can go do Marine 7 and Miz and Mrs. and not actually worry about it. And then he could always claim to be a sports entertainer, which you know he's been doing before Jericho and his crew.
Manny, I'm not going to even ask you about Ciampa and Miz. I'm going to go someplace that's more closer to your heart. On NXT this week, Clickbait really took a hit because Toxic Attraction lost the tag team titles, and they were the longest reigning women's tag team champions in the industry. But Team 2001, Cora Jade, and Roxy.
They were the only women's tag team title on TV.
Manny, do you feel that your clicks will take a dip because you don't have the buns of Gigi Dolan to present to the world anymore?
I've still got Nikita Lyons, Eric.
I'm sure when the best of Jew come out, Nikita Lyons is on the cover.
Yes, she is. And Mandy Rose. Nikita Lyons is eating a banana. That clickbait writes itself.
Manny, no, Manny, stop. You need to stop. It's the point you need to stop. And this is only for me, Manny. I wish I could come over to London with you because once I found out that Chase U is going abroad and they're going to travel to the UK for whatever reason they're traveling for, and that dude deserved to be kicked out the classroom. F that dude. I was extremely happy. It
already happened last week. The tapings were last week.
Yeah. But Manny, they just announced it this week. I don't live in the past. Really, Manny? That's it. That's it. Manny, you ain't shit, man. You ain't shit.
Who?
Everyone.
Man,
I actually do have a question.
I should start calling you Trick Manny. Go ahead, Manny. It's an AEW question I see.
Yeah, it is actually an AEW question because AEW seem to be in some peril. So we heard reports that Daniel Bryan isn't doing so well in terms of getting cleared. CM Punk isn't doing so well. So that foot X-ray isn't doing so good. I think last week or the week before we got Kenny Omega saying if he has one more setback, he's done. AEW has a really bad. AEW's been hit with the injury bug worse than I think WWE, and because WWE technically just lost Randy, but they've got
and
other
Big E.
people
And Big
around.
E, put respect on Big E.
Yeah, but these don't sound like career threatening, except for Big E.
Yeah, but these ones seem like these ones could be detrimental to the way AEW is
has a
booked.
touch of COVID. Just remember, a touch of COVID.
A dose.
A dose.
A touch of COVID. Where do you think the AEW booking is? Because like you got to think long term. If Punk's had a setback, do you continue with this interim title? Or do you just establish it as a proper title? Because like all their top guys are kind of out at the moment, and it's only Mox really flying flag.
I would jump in here. I think you keep it interim. Punk will eventually come back because it's a broken ankle or whatever it is, or foot,
fractured foot.
like
I think.
I think it's
something
foot.
like that. So that will heal. That's not career threatening. He could always come back and tell the story of Mox.
Shout out to Grant Hill.
That's always the biggest draw they could probably get right now. The Bryan Danielson one, that's devastating.
Do you think it could be done? Do you think it could be done?
Could be. It could be. And I hope it's not true. But it could be really detrimental to their TV and interest because right now they have lost all their top stars, the people of interest, whether it's Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, and MJF. I believe that was probably their top 3 guys who people tune in to AEW for. And
well, I think MJF's back in September.
He's back, but he's gone, and they're gonna really work up the storyline that he's gone. But as someone pointed out, I forgot who it was, that shit can cool off. It's been a while. It feels like it's been a while, and it's only been a month, and their ratings have been slipping for the most part. I mean, they did okay with Blood and Guts, but it did dip back down here. So I think these injuries are really hitting them hard. The WWE is gonna be WWE. The same motherfuckers gonna watch that show no matter what. No matter what. And Vince McMahon's scandal is only going to bring more views because you want to see what's the next move for the WWE. So with their injury bugs, they still keep their controversial views and all that shit and their established base, as AEW is still a growing company trying to establish new stars and all that. They're probably going to be hit harder. And I know they're going hard with Christian right now in that MJF spot, but that ain't MJF. That ain't CM Punk. That ain't Bryan Danielson. That is Christian, and he's always going to be seen as Christian. And that's no disrespect for Christian. He should know who he is.
I mean, I think, I'm going to chime in right now, and I'm going to say some things that probably going to ruffle some feathers and stuff like this.
Oh, man. He got a chicken and he's ruffling feathers.
But I feel like that in actuality that the people, the fans and stuff, they're not holding AEW accountable for what they did. The way that they treated Bryan Danielson when he got into the company, it's a reason why I was very fearful of him leaving WWE. There was a reason why they limit what he did in the ring. It was a reason why it was like, hey, we're gonna tone back what you do. However, they let him go into AEW and they let him do things that he probably shouldn't have been doing, and he could constantly kept doing it. And so now he's put into a situation where they had one of their biggest signing, and now his in-ring career may be over. And I really feel that Tony Khan should be held more accountable for what they did in that situation. As for
but the man was happy. You can see he was happy actually going out there and going his freestyle. But sometimes I agree with you. You have to protect the man from himself.
Yeah, and I understand sometimes people want to be happy, but at the same time, it's like you're an investment and you can't do this. And if I'm out, was it a concussion or something that it's something with his head again, right?
Yeah. They haven't stated exactly.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's something with his head again because they won't state it because I don't think Tony wants that bad publicity because I think that the wrestling community would go in hard.
Well, it's not only that, it's because he's with the Jags as well. That whole concussion thing is just going to go through the roof because of the NFL as well.
Yeah, and concussion seems to be rampant in this company, and I'm sure it's happening in WWE as well. Rhea Ripley knocked herself out recently or something and got a concussion, but
she's also wearing a temporary heart monitor at the moment.
Yeah, jeez. With the Matt Hardy situation, where he had multiple concussions already. Jeff Hardy, who may have had a concussion or may have been in drugs, but how that ragged he was running of diving through tables and chairs and every week. I think they need to pull back some.
I just think
protect some of these guys.
The way that the way that they produce their show and how it's like we're gonna give you everything and everything is gonna be treated as a special night and stuff like that. And the style that they do, it's not conducive to the health of their performers. And this is why they are getting hit with the injury bug. I mean, WWE was being criticized when they were doing all the touring and stuff like that. And I think that they learned a little bit from when the pandemic took place, where you kind of have to scale back and let some of your top performers not have as many days. That's why we don't see that many AJ Styles matches. That's why you don't get Roman every week and stuff like that. I think it's a balance that you have to find. And that's where AEW has to use their extremely bloated roster and use it to make more stars. And I mean, quite frankly, they're trying to do it with Wardlow, but how far can Wardlow really go? And Manny, it's funny that you brought up this question because I was going to ask a similar question when I was prepping my show, but I forgot to ask this question. I was like, of the three guys, the main stars that are out injured with Bryan Danielson, Kenny Omega, and CM Punk, who would you like? Who do you think is more important with returning sooner rather than later? Like, who do you think is the key? Like, who, if one could return, if you could say, all right, this person comes back right now, who would it be?
You'd have to say Punk. Like, Punk's the one that's like the bigger ticket. For me, I could have Brian stay away for at least 6 months to get himself good to go again. Like the better he stays away to mentally heal, because the head injuries take ages to recover from. I think CM Punk, but I do miss Kenny. Like, I'm starting to miss Kenny. Like, I think AEW misses Kenny. Like, there's something about a Kenny match that separates it from other matches. And that's the reason he's injured, is because he would go out and try and do a 5-star, 6-star classic every night. He had a match. And that's the type, that's the type of person he is. And there was a report saying different when he comes back, he's hoping to do more character work to prolong his career, which would be a good thing for him.
So he's going to become a sports entertainer in a way. I mean,
essentially, you have to, if you want to continue doing this into your 40s and continue making money, you have to.
If you want to be a Randy Orton, you got to do it.
Yeah, you have to change your style to a style that you can do on a regular and not get hurt, and then take the necessary risks on a big show. You don't have to take them on a Dynamite. You can take them on your pay-per-views.
Or if you're going to take it on a Dynamite, make sure you're in the main event and not the second match on the show. Like, oh, there go Marcus. I thought he was as frozen in thought. Marcus, what about you? Of the three, who do you want to see back?
Well, I want to also announce that on Fyter Fest Night 2 or whatever it's called, barbed wire death match is coming up with John Moxley or whoever or somebody.
I thought it was Jericho. It's
Jericho and Eddie Kingston or something.
Yeah, it's Jericho and Eddie Kingston with Marcus. And this is for you. They are tickling your balls at this point, Marcus. The JAS is going to be suspended in the shark cage over the ring.
Which, when we talk about safety, they decide to go for this match anyway. I think CM Punk is the one that has to come back. I think Kenny can give you a great match, but character work, I don't think he's ever been really strong at that. CM Punk can tell you a great story, and I think he had a good thing with FTR and all that. And I think him and Mox can go back and forth with promos, and they can really sell your show. So I would go with CM Punk.
I would also go with CM Punk. I just think that CM Punk is a more well-rounded individual. I mean, he can do the promo. He's proven that he's able to give a solid match. I don't know if the foot injury is going to hinder him. For Bryan Danielson, his health is more important because he has 2 kids, and I don't want to see him. I don't want unfortunately a Chris Benoit situation to happen, because that's what his style leads to. And then Kenny Omega, I'm glad he realizes that he needs to have more character work. Maybe he can talk to his friend Xavier, because Xavier is actually fairly good with trying to get his character across when he gets time, and maybe they can work out something on counter promotions. But I think that the injury to Kenny Omega really halted the rise of Adam Page. because I feel like Adam Page was supposed to be the next big thing, and now he's just kind of there. Like he's not. Like they don't.
Join the Dark Order.
They don't really have
all 6 of us.
Like, would you say that their star list is what Moxley, and that's a stretch, and then it's Wardlow, and then after that it's like, do you give it to Jericho? I mean, like, what is the hierarchy of AEW right now? Because it seems like it's in a flux.
Yeah, and you know that Wardlow announced he's all elite, but when is his contract up? And how much do you pay Wardlow?
Potential wise, you've got to pay him at least $2 million.
Yeah. So with all that, with potential and all that, I mean, there's decisions to be made. You know, they're gonna have to make some of the tough decisions on who they're gonna push. Darby Allin, who wrestles the insane style of jumping on his head, should be a bigger star. I wouldn't mind seeing him going after Jon Moxley for the interim title or something and do a program with him. Like,
to answer the question, I would like them to drop the term interim. I think it just be the champion until Punk gets back. Simple as that. That's just me.
Well, I'd rather them drop the title, but I need something different from the title just looking like the exact title. I want it to look. I want it to be a stripped down version of the title, so it doesn't even look like it.
I'm okay with it. The UFC, they do the same thing. I'm okay with that.
They should make the interim title look like that one time when the TNT championship wasn't completed.
Before no, Eric. I don't want to have any plates of any sort. I just want a leather strap.
So as we wrap up to the end of the show, so the question I'm going to leave these two gentlemen with, and I'm going to go to you first, Manny. What was your favorite match this week? What did you enjoy the most this week?
Wendy Chu versus Tiffany Stratton.
Manny, I'm not surprised that you picked that match, to be totally honest.
The fight that broke out in a promo spot and then happened during picture-in-picture thing was hilarious. It was just so funny. I wish it wasn't in picture-in-picture because Wendy Chu was very animated when they were in the back, when she was even sitting on the chair and stuff like that. So, and Tiffany Stratton is becoming my favorite women's wrestler on NXT 2.0.
Yeah,
Marcus,
I think
what about you?
Shockingly better than, again, as I keep saying, she's shockingly better than what she's advertised, and like she should just be just this horrible Mandy Rose Club, but she's actually really good and athletic. Oh, my favorite match of the week is Trick Williams hand down. No question, don't care what I saw.
Really, Trick Williams match.
Shout out to Moxley, Brody. Shout out to the Creeds and Diamond Mine and all that.
But Trick Williams versus Wesley, Marcus, that was it.
Trick Williams versus Wesley entertained me more than anything this week. With Trick coming out in Muhammad Ali tights, him getting water, and then more importantly, him using something that people don't use much in wrestling, and that's rubbing alcohol to knock his opponent out.
So Marcus,
I'm sorry, that was the most entertaining match this week for me because Trick won me over with his lack of wrestling.
But Marcus, I'm going to tell you something right now, Marcus. This is why we're brothers, because I'm not picking that match, but I'm going to pick the Trick's partner, Carmelo Hayes, against Grayson Waller.
You can pick a good match.
No, right. But it's two of my boys. But at the same time, the reason why Grayson Waller lost is because Trick Williams and Wesley beef carried over into that. I mean, for me, and I know that I think we're all in the minority. I still have the most fun with NXT. I don't know why. It's just because nothing of it seems like they don't take themselves seriously. It is what I like about professional wrestling. And it's like
cartoon.
It's like Trick Williams came out like he was Muhammad Ali. Like, you ain't that good, man. But he went with rubbing alcohol.
I like NXT 2.0 because this is how I used to watch wrestling when I was a kid.
Yeah. And then shout out to Melo. Shout out to Melo with his Jumbotron having the vintage Dream Team color scheme. I love that shit. I don't know why, but I was like, oh, that's the Dream Team. That's the 92 Dream Team right there. I was like, go ahead, Melo. Because when he shoot, he don't miss. He don't. And then you know what? The tag match was really good too. The Creed boys.
Before we dive off into ending the show, what do you make of Elektra being the most valuable person in the family now?
making that money at the port on the port.
That bitch sold Santos out, man. I know she did. We're gonna find out that she sold Santos. Man, my favorite part is when they showed. My favorite part is they showed the picture of Santos, and clearly no one calls or talks on the phone to check on nobody. Like when he wasn't texting and stuff. Like you should have known something was. Like, did he take his phone or something? Like, what happened? But it also proves that Tony D'Angelo is a very violent individual. He killed 2 Dimes and he put Santos in a hospital.
Yeah, you didn't get to give your opinion on that. When the writing off of 2 Times. What did you think of that last week?
Manny, once again, it's the greatest thing about NXT because they don't take themselves seriously. Like, this is the only this is the only company that announces and acknowledges when somebody's released. Like, the fact that 2 Dimes was released and they had to kill him off in the docks brought me back to when Duke, when they released Dexter Loomis and Persia Pirotta, and then you had that brief moment between Indy Hartwell and Duke Hudson, and that's probably been the most important thing they did since then. And I'm like, I like it. That's what I like in my thing.
I want to chime in and say AEW acknowledged their releases this week when the Dark Order stood in the ring and said nothing. It said nothing to me about how they still here. We still stand, and 6 of us. We still alive. And Coca Cabana's life is in limbo. And then apparently the locker room had to fight to keep Coca Cabana.
And then finally, what did you make of this? It's the coolest shit marked on the left, and then the dumbest shit on the right.
Betty, I want to point out the pause picture. It seems like it's too, like, we had a time machine, like a time warp. We got like Daniel Garcia. He's living in the thugonomics phase where he thinks he's a thug. He got the hip hop thing. And then you got the other guy of 2.0. Like, he went back to the 50s and the 60s and he's like, yeah, where's the soda machine? And then on the right side, you have an old man Jericho. Put your arm in the door. Put your arm in the door. And I'm just like, Ruby Riott, you signed up for this shit, man. You signed up for this.
Can I also say, if I showed this picture to anybody on the street, they go, what the fuck is really going on here?
Also, I feel like this is what happens when you congratulate Liv for winning the title. Tony Khan's like, I'm gonna smash your Twitter fingers in the door, bitch. You left company. You are.
So I forgot that Jericho was in this photo because he's on the side. He's on the side looking like a DDP tribute act, and then and then you've got. But then what happened was Ruby decided to walk and then put her hand there.
Yeah,
it's so bad.
But no, this seems like some gang warfare that, like, Tay Conti officially hasn't been jumped into the Jericho Appreciation Squad. So this was her way of getting into the game. Like, we need you to break Ruby Riott's arm. Like
Buddy Murphy had to take that eye in order to join up with Seth.
Yeah, it's like, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. It's just.
Can I also incorporate this at the end of every one of these Saturday shows? We should have the winners of the week, the MVP and the best show or worst segment of the week. The Ruby Riott hand going to the car door has to be the worst thing of the week. To me, it's the best thing of the week.
Hey, the best thing is Oscar squeezing Becky Lynch bomb titty. That was amazing.
For no reason.
But I love how wrestling fans take such a tender moment of them making sure that they're okay and turn it to what we turn it into. That's what wrestling fans do. And they had an okay match.
I didn't. The other people did.
You're talking about the car door.
Ross, you don't need to see it, man. You just don't. You don't need it.
Because I can't wait for when we do Dynamite is Dynamite Retro or whatever it is.
I ain't never touched it.
I'm not doing that, man. Because Marcus,
Ross
the one
kid is gonna be doing it with Andrew, our nephew.
Hey,
it's gonna be the greatest show of all time.
Can I just tell you something? And this is no disrespect to AEW. AEW never leaves me with nothing I feel good about after I watch the show. It's like,
come on.
It's not nothing that, like, stays with me. Although, can I say they did this week? The new baddie that replaced Red Velvet, that was an upgrade of all upgrades, and she might be the baddest baddie of all the baddies. I'm just letting that be known. I don't know her name, don't know who she is, but Big Stoke, he did a good work right there.
Gray? I think it's Leva Gray.
I don't know what her name is, but Big Stoke did the work.
I think
I could just be watching porn and making up names now.
You could.
Leva Gray.
Hey, and that's what they did on Monday Night Raw. Shit. You just can't make this shit up, man.
Are you ready to wrap this shit up?
Oh, well, we got 1 minute. So who's your MVP?
Sleep.
Bart, who's your MVP of the week? Who's your MVP? You brought it up. Who was your MVP this week?
I'm just gonna say the best hype man in wrestling. Paul Heyman stole the week by being the MVP of the week. for his
my
next match.
MVP, Gunther. He kept his troops in line, man. Chop a motherfucker when they don't act right. Gunther, that's who I got. And Manny, who you got?
Because she'll never ever be MVP ever again. I'm gonna give it to Elektra Lopez for being for bringing in the most money.
And I think we could all agree that the worst person this week was Ruby Riott for putting her arm in the door because that was just stupid.
And
although
Liv Morgan,
those two on the side of that photo, the 2.0 guy and Danny Garcia, may be the coolest guys on the week.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, they look like two time travelers that went back to this moment so they can have a good laugh.
Hey,
like,
Manny,
they're about to do the door again. You want to go see her put her head in the door again? Yeah.
And if Marcus actually took the time to watch Rampage, Ember Moon and Chris Statlander would get a vote for being my least interesting people this week too, because I just didn't really care what they were talking about. So with that concludes another episode of the Sharpshooters Podcast. Remember, chime in on anything we have to say in the comments or send us an email at thesharpshooters@gmail.com. Don't forget to check out the Untitled Manny and Marcus show that airs every Tuesday and Thursday. Also, Marcus is working on Wednesday with everything else. And then let's not forget the Big Ross Man and Manny hits Friday up with Raw is Retro. We have a packed week. We appreciate all the new subscribers. Please leave in a comment what we can do to make the show better. But right now, it's time for us to sign off.
300 by September!
I am Eric.
I'm the titillating Lord Manny Hayes.
And hold on, let me get into you guys' personal space. I'm a Maximum Male, Marcus the Grand Finale.
And I'm the AEW production head. Until next week, stay sharp. Peace.
Lord Eric for life.
Shout out to Florida Eric.
I have one more thing, and it's probably going to lead to some nonsense just because Florida Eric looked like a man that shit on the toilet with his lace cloths while sipping wine.
I just want to point out, so I actually, you guys might ask, I took this conversation to work, and many people don't know.
Well, this conversation did not happen on the show, Eric.
Well, many people do not know if you can cross your leg and take a shit. No one knows if that's possible, but I don't think anybody wants to try.
Well,
I think it's possible. I think it's possible.
I feel like shit would get everywhere.
Well, Kevin Garnett said anything is possible.
But anyway, because
what he meant.
Man, no, guys, we don't need to derail the show. The show is over. If people know, Marcus, you need sleep, and we have other things that we need to do, and I need to eat. So the show is over. Manny dropped the bomb for good.